Have you ever looked closely at a 2007 Wyoming state quarter and wondered if it could be worth more than just 25 cents? Well, you might be surprised to learn that some of these coins are not only collectible, but can also be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. At first glance, it might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but certain 2007 Wyoming quarters, especially those with minting errors or in pristine condition, have become hidden treasures for collectors across the country. The Wyoming quarter was released in 2007 as part of the U.S. Mint's popular 50-state quarters program, which celebrated each state with a unique reverse design. Wyoming was the 44th coin in the series, honoring the state's admission to the Union. In 1890, like all quarters in the program, it features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, designed by John Flanagan. Above Washington's head are the words United States of America, while liberty and in God we trust appear beside his profile. Below, you'll see the denomination quarter dollar and the mint mark, either a P for Philadelphia, a D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. But it's the reverse side that really captures attention. The Wyoming state quarter features a simple yet striking design, a silhouette of a cowboy riding a bucking horse with the words "The Equality State" inscribed beside it. The design was created by Norman E. Nemeth and pays tribute to Wyoming's famous nickname, celebrating its pioneering role as the first U.S. state to grant women the right to vote. The image of the cowboy on horseback, known as the bucking horse and rider, is one of the most iconic symbols of the American West and has represented Wyoming. For more than a century, the simplicity of the Wyoming design is both its strength and, interestingly, one of the reasons why so many error coins were produced. While the U.S. Mint typically maintains extremely high standards, the flat, open surfaces of the Wyoming quarter made any flaw, scratches, die cracks, or doubling more noticeable. That's part of what makes the 2007 Wyoming quarter such an exciting coin for collectors today. The 2007 Wyoming quarters were minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced around 243 million coins, Denver struck about 243 million, and San Francisco made roughly 2 million proof coins. That's nearly 500 million coins in total, so at first it seems like the Wyoming quarter isn't rare. But when you start looking for those high-grade examples and rare minting errors, that's where the real value starts to appear. Let's begin with the standard business strike coins from Philadelphia and Denver. Most of these circulated quarters are only worth face value if they've been used in everyday transactions. However, in uncirculated or mint state condition, their value can rise significantly. Coins graded MS65 gem uncirculated typically sell for around $5 to $10. In MS66, the price jumps to $25 or more. The real excitement starts at MS67, where the value can range from $100 to $300 depending on demand. Extremely rare examples in MS68 with virtually no flaws have sold for as high as $700 or more at major coin auctions. Now let's talk about the San Francisco proofs. The 2007 S Wyoming quarter was made specifically for collectors and comes in 2 versions, a copper nickel clad proof and a 90% silver proof. The proof coins have a mirror-like finish and frosted details, giving them a beautiful, sharp contrast. A 2007 S-clad proof graded PR70 Deep Cameo, meaning it's in perfect condition, can sell for around $30 to $50. Meanwhile, a 2007 S silver proof in PR70 deep cameo can fetch $60 to $100, depending on market demand and silver prices. But here's where things get truly interesting: minting errors. These are the coins that turn an ordinary quarter into something extraordinary. Some 2007 Wyoming quarters have errors so rare and dramatic that they've been sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One of the most famous types of Wyoming quarter errors is the clipped plancher error. This occurs when the coin blank, called a plancher, is accidentally cut from the metal sheet too close to the edge, resulting in a coin that has a small crescent-shaped clip missing. Depending on how severe the clip is and if the design is still visible, these coins can sell for anywhere from $50 to $300. Another notable error is the missing clad layer. Normal quarters have 3 layers, a copper core sandwiched between 2 outer layers of nickel. Sometimes one of those outer layers is missing on one side, exposing the reddish copper core underneath. A 2007 Wyoming quarter missing a clad layer can sell for $200 to $500 or more, especially if the error is clear and the coin is in excellent condition. Then there's the off-center strike, one of the most visually dramatic mint errors. This happens when the coin isn't perfectly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing. The more off-center it is, the more valuable it becomes. A Wyoming quarter that's 10% off-center might be worth around $50, but if it's 40% or more off-center and still shows the date, it could bring $400 or more. Some collectors have also discovered die cracks and cuds on Wyoming quarters. A cud is a raised blob of metal that appears when part of the coin die breaks away, leaving an unstruck area on the coin. These usually show up near the rim or around the cowboy design, and depending on how large and visible the cud is, they can sell for $100 to several $100s. Die cracks, which appear as raised lines on the surface, can also attract collector interest, especially if they occur across major design elements like the cowboy or horse. There are even examples of double die errors on 2007 Wyoming quarters. These occur when the coin die shifts slightly between strikes, causing parts of the design or lettering to appear doubled. Doubling has been spotted on the text, the equality state, or around the outline of the horse and rider. Strong, visible doubling can make a coin worth anywhere from $150 to over $1,000 depending on the clarity and grade. Another fascinating and very rare minting error involves Wyoming quarters struck on the wrong plancher, meaning the coin was accidentally made using a blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin. Because these planchers are smaller or of different metal compositions, they produce a coin that looks noticeably off. A Wyoming quarter struck on a dime plancher, for instance, would be thinner and lighter and could easily be worth between $2,000 and $5,000 to a serious collector. Even coins without errors can hold significant value if they're preserved in exceptional condition. Coins graded at MS67 or higher are extremely rare because of the way quarters are handled and transported in large bags after minting. Those small contact marks and scuffs that happen during the minting process make flawless examples hard to find. A perfect or near-perfect Wyoming quarter is a gem for any collector's set. The story behind the design also adds to the coin's appeal. Wyoming's motto, the equality state, reflects its history of being the first state to give women full voting rights in 1869, over 50 years before the rest of the nation followed. The image of the cowboy and bucking horse, often called Steamboat, named after a legendary rodeo horse from the early 1900s, represents the state's rugged independence and deep connection to its Western heritage. It's a simple yet powerful design that stands out from the more detailed state quarters, and for collectors, its minimalism makes any imperfection or error even more noticeable and therefore more valuable. If you have a 2007 Wyoming quarter and want to know if it's worth money, here's what to look for. Start with the basics. Check the mint mark P, D, or S. Examine both sides of the coin under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look for anything unusual like doubling in the text, cracks, missing metal, off-center designs, or color differences that could suggest a missing clad layer. If you find something that looks rare or unusual, avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning it can damage the surface and drastically reduce its value. Instead, keep it safely in a plastic coin holder or capsule and consider having it professionally graded by a reputable service such as PCGS or NGC. A professional grade not only confirms authenticity, but can also significantly increase your coin's resale value. Even if your coin doesn't have a dramatic minting error, an uncirculated or proof Wyoming quarter still holds collector value, especially as part of a complete 50-state quarters set. These coins continue to be popular among collectors, both for their beauty and for their connection to American history. What makes the Wyoming quarter so fascinating is how it bridges simplicity and rarity. Its clean design highlights even the smallest imperfection, which has made it a favorite for era hunters. And although millions were minted, finding one in flawless condition or with a unique error is no small feat. Some lucky collectors have found coins worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in ordinary rolls of quarters or pocket change. So the next time you come across a 2007 Wyoming state quarter, take a moment before spending it. Look closely at that cowboy and horse. You might just be holding a tiny piece of the Wild West. And if luck's on your side, maybe even a coin worth far more than 25 cents. Because in the world of coin collecting, every coin tells a story. And sometimes that story comes with a big surprise in value.